In this video, you'll be learning about this topic.
I love that, and thank you so much for sharing that personal story, Damien. It's so insightful to learn how Ray Dalio has shaped such a strong culture. And speaking about the culture, Brits Border is known for having this search for the truth. And that is found through something Ray Dalio refers to as radical transparency, which is very uncommon in the rest of corporate America. Could you provide a few different examples of radical transparency and what it personally meant to you?
So radical transparency just means that there is an active effort to constantly evaluate bad outcomes, whether that's something that resulted from a weakness that I had personally or a bad process. You want to stare at the bad outcomes and understand what contributed to those outcomes. Be very honest with each individual as to their strengths and weaknesses. Be very honest about what parts of the process are not working as desired, and constantly improve and iterate. And that's how you drive an organization that continues to compete at the highest levels. It's not about just finding the magic formula and utilizing that to get rich. Organizations that are successful face challenges all the time. And if you hide from those challenges, most people don't want to look at uncomfortable truths about themselves. That is a hard thing to do. And so they avoid those things, and therefore they don't really evolve. What I found most rewarding about Bridgewater, and I think the reason why I fit in there, is because I actually enjoyed the challenge of facing the things I wasn't good at and trying to improve upon those things. And sometimes it's also just acknowledging that I'm never going to be able to do those things well. That's just not who I am as a person. And so I have to design around my flaws. But you're going to get to the place you want to arrive at much quicker if you're honest with yourself about those weaknesses or those flaws or those mistakes. And that's the environment that he tried to create there. Alex and I have tried to create in our own business, because that's how you drive rapid evolution. That's how you drive improvement. And frankly, that's how I think you drive fulfillment in whatever endeavor you're approaching, is constantly trying to achieve better outcomes and being honest with yourself at when those outcomes are less than ideal.
But it's hard to do because there's emotional blocks, right? It's hard to focus on the things you've done poorly. Most people run away from that. And I think the way you get there is, this is what I think Ray is a master of. And then there's others like that. They're truly independent thinkers. They don't just follow the herd because that's just the way other people do it. They step back, and I describe it as zooming out. You zoom out to a point where you can see the flaws in the way convention has evolved. And you look at it and say, no, what is the right way to do it? And you go back to the basics and you build things based on what you think is ideal, forgetting what has been learned through time. Some things that have been learned through time you can use, others you can throw away. And so building a balanced portfolio, you can get there if you do have that independent thinking framework. And managing an organization, which is basically you have this machine and you're trying to improve it, and you forget emotions, you forget what everybody else is doing, and you find the weaknesses within that machine and you improve that piece. And then you go to somewhere else and you improve that piece. And you fast forward 5 or 10 years, you're in a much better place.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next podcast episode and new investing resources.
What are your takeaways and thoughts on this discussion? Let us know in the comments section below.